Hi, everybody. We have a special guest this week because we are all such big fans of Making a Murderer. We needed to bring in a third-party perspective so we could be as fair as possible because we are all about being fair and balanced here on ATX.
So balanced. Super balanced.
So balanced. So we're going to start out by each of us kind of talking about if we think Steven Avery is innocent or guilty.
I believe that he is innocent. I believe that he may not be a perfect gentleman. He may also have some issues with anger. Who wouldn't after being detained for 18 years? But I don't feel like the evidence, it's a reasonable doubt. I have reasonable doubt. Of course, I don't know anybody who would watch the series and just kind of take it for face value. I'm pretty sure everybody watches the series and immediately is online like, okay, what's everybody else saying? What's everybody? And we're all talking about it. Like, it's funny how after watching Making a Murderer, you now have the qualifications of like an FBI consultant and analyst, and you're a CSI forensics expert. But, but good for us. Question everything. Why not? So I say not guilty.
If I was sitting on the jury, if I was one of the jurors and I was left with a whole lot of reasonable doubt, I would not have voted him guilty. So I don't know if I'm going to answer guilty or innocent, but what I'm saying is he should have been voted not guilty.
I am completely on board with you. I don't think there's enough evidence. I don't think they could prove enough. Now, I will say that when I finished watching the series, I was so on the he's innocent train. Since I've done some research, seen some things that were left out, really kind of like molded over, listened to other people, I think there's a chance he is guilty. However, it is clear that the police tampered with this evidence because they really wanted to make sure he was guilty. So, yeah, but I have some issues, which I'm sure you guys have some issues. So let's talk about some of those issues.
What's your take on Brendan Dassey, the nephew, guilty or innocent?
Well,
I don't think that Brendan Dassey necessarily did it. He may have been involved, and again, this comes from research I've done since then. But let me tell you one thing that I found out that I don't know if either of you had located this information online. But Brendan Dassey's IQ, which I believe they had mentioned in the series, is between like 69 and 73. So is Steven Avery's.
Yeah.
Steven Avery's IQ is 70. So these are not bright people. And so that makes me think two ways. One, okay, they're not bright people. They may be stupid enough to have killed someone. But also, how would they be smart enough to clean it up?
Right.
An IQ of 70? Like,
yeah.
Come on.
Well, then, although the flip side presents itself as, but then they're not smart. Maybe they're not smart enough to clean it up in a way that's truly cleans it up. Like, let's put the car on a very visible ridge and things like that.
True.
That's the only problem with that side is like, well, then that does support someone not having a higher IQ. Is just being like, I hit it. I kind of put it near the bookcase, very visible.
put it up there on the ridge there. Put it up there.
That damn key.
Yes.
Because it was obviously a spare key. Because as we all know, we are no longer in college, so we don't have like the wallet with our school ID on the keys. But I have a giant Texas keychain. I have a Boba Fett. I have keys to my best friend's house, to my parents' house. Nobody carries one little car key.
You could have one key, but there's a ton of other crap on it.
What about the key to your house, though? Where's the house key?
Oh, yeah.
If you lived in a house and not an apartment, you didn't have a mailbox key, but you had a house key and you had a car key. And maybe you didn't have a key fob because your car wasn't fancy, because a key fob means your car is fancy. But you know what I mean? Like back then when you just
that word is fancy to me. You mean like the beep beep?
I was wondering what she was talking about.
It's you fancy words.
They don't call me fancy pants for nothing, you guys.
Here's my other sticking point, which was a great, and honestly, again, creative-wise, a great way for them to end the episode with them showing the evidence of the blood container thing totally ripped open and that teeny tiny little pinprick. Legally, what's the legal, like, it's okay to just stick that in there. Legally, what is that? And then when they go, okay, it's admissible, and then the FBI all of a sudden immediately can do some evidence, that's like total Battlestar Galactica type of crap.
They said this test will take 3 years. Oh no, we did it in 2 months.
How was that? Like, how did that happen? Especially with the current political climate, there is so much distrust of the people who have been in charge because stuff hasn't been working out for people. And not to take away from the series and what they were trying to do. And again, 10 years in the making, 10 years ago, did they know that this would have this type of visceral reaction with people?
Yeah,
Because, I mean, people are getting in fights and friendships are ending. And, like, people are serious about whether or not he's guilty or he's innocent. And then you get all the people who come out of the woodwork after the fact, like his girlfriend,
right?
Like, what's her name? Who he went to jail for in the first place.
Oh yeah, the woman that he was accused of raping. Yeah.
Right. And no one has mentioned the fact, like, not even in any of the blogs or no one has said anything about the Gregory Allen guy who's up for parole October 2016. I'd just like to point that out. That's not touched on.
As we talked about, like, them having very low IQs, how is it that you could slit someone's throat and blood fly everywhere and clean all that up with no evidence of bleach and your own DNA still being there? Like, those are all, like, again, I'm not a forensic expert. I don't even, as we've discussed before, I've never seen Law and Order. But I know enough to know that if blood were everywhere, that's a lot to clean up. And if you clean it up, you would take out your own DNA as well. So I don't know.
Let me also point out, having had 2 babies naturally, that also has a lot of bloodletting. And that takes like 3 nurses and 2 extra dudes. I mean, it's a whole circus in that room. And that's just to clean up, maybe 2 hours of work. But by the time you sit up and you're stitched up and your baby's handed back to you, like, that place is squeaky clean. But it took a lot of people to help. So could 2 people legitimately, with their 70 IQs, clean that up there? No, you clean that up there. I'm not cleaning that up. You take that thing. Yeah. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah.
You're totally right. And I also think, though, if you were to send a CSI team into the labor and delivery room, they'd still be able to swipe up some DNA somehow. Because even in the cleanest of environments, you're going to be able to find something in that. Unless you're in, like, the Mark Wahlberg end of the movie Departed suit, like in The Departed, where he's got the whole thing on.
Wait. Mark Wahlberg is there, bro? What's Mark Wahlberg doing there, bro? I didn't know Mark Wahlberg was in this movie, bro.
Throw that in. Then the point being, it's going somewhere. I'm with you. So my thing is like,
now all I'm thinking of is him being like, have you seen this movie? There's like these 2 sisters and the one girl has ice powers. I did not see that coming. Classic.